Chapter 91, Standing in My Truth. Even after everything I've been through, I refuse to let it define me in a negative way. The mistakes, the betrayals, the lies that were told about me, none of it gets to decide who I am. Those moments left scars, yes, but they are not the full story. They are chapters in my life, but they don't write the whole book. I faced people who spread rumors, crossed my boundaries. Without a second thought, it tried to turn others against me. It was meant to break me down, to make me doubt myself, to silence me, but it didn't work. Instead, I stood up. I found a strength inside me I didn't know I had. I spoke out, even when my voice shook. I wrote down the truth when no one else wanted to hear it. When it felt like the world was trying to erase my story, I shared my side, not because I wanted to fight back with anger, but because I needed to reclaim my voice and my life. I am not perfect. I don't have all of the answers. I make mistakes. I have moments of doubt and fear. And sometimes I still feel overwhelmed by what happened. But though it all, I have come to understand myself better. I have learned who I really am beneath all the noise and hurt. I know what I've been through. I know how it changed me. But I also know how it made me stronger. This chapter isn't about blaming others or holding gadgets. It's about revealing pain or staying stuck in the past. It's about claiming my truth fully, every messy, complicated piece of it. It's about owning my story, my feelings, my growth, and my healing. It's about living in a way that is honest and authentic to who I am, not who others try to make me be. I refuse to shrink myself to make others comfortable. I refuse to hide parts of me because I'm afraid of judgment. I stand tall in my truth, even when it feels ver- va- vulnerable or hard. I carry the lessons learned from my pain as armor, not chains. The past is real, and so is the pain. I won't deny it or pretend it never happened, but neither will I let it control my future. My healing is real too, sometimes slow, sometimes messy, but always moving forward. That is what matters most now. My truth is my power. It reminds me every day, and I am a resilient, worth, and complicated. It's the foundation I'm building my future on, a future where I don't have to apologize for who I am or what I've been through. The truth gives me peace when the doubts creep in. It gives me courage when fear tries to hold me back. It gives me hope when the road ahead feels uncertain. Standing in my truth means accepting all of myself, the light and the shadows, and knowing that both make me worth, makes me whole. It means being honest with myself and others even when it's uncomfortable. It means living a life that honors my experiences without letting them define my worth. I am not just a survivor of what happened to me. I am a fighter, a learner, a believer in my own strength. And every day I stand in my truth. I grow stronger. This is my story, this is my truth, and I will live it bold, boldly, proudly, and without apology. Chapter 792, What Closure Really Means. Closure isn't always what we expect it to be. It's not always about getting the apology we deserve or having all the pieces fall perfectly into place. Sometimes closure isn't about the other people at all. It's not about hearing the right words or getting the answers we want. Sometimes closure means something far more personal. Sometimes that happens inside of us, quietly and slowly. For the longest time, I believed closure was about justice. I thought it meant making the people who hurt me realize they did, owning up to their mistakes, saying sorry, and fixing what was broken. I waited. I hoped. I watched for signs that things might change, that I might get the recognition I needed to heal. But the truth is, sometimes the recognition never comes. Sometimes people never admit they were wrong. Sometimes the apologies never arrive. And sometimes closure has to come without those things. Because if you wait for them, you might never move forward. Closure means choosing to walk away, not because you don't care, but because you have to protect yourself. It means deciding that your peace is more important than their guilt. Approval or guilt. It means accepting that some questions will remain unanswered and some wounds will take longer to heal than you want. Closure is about reclaiming your own power. It's about looking inside and saying, I am enough. I don't need you to fix this for me. I don't need your apology to find peace. It's about forgiving, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve to be free. Closure is messy. It's not a single moment or a neat box to check off. It's a process filled with ups and downs, good days and bad days. Some days the hurt will still feel raw. Some nights the memories will still keep you awake. But closure means continuing to choose, healing away, even when it's hard. I stopped waiting for people to own up. I stopped holding my breath for things to get better on their timeline. That's when I started to truly heal. That's when I began to live for myself instead of living for the hope of their validation. Closure means setting boundaries and protecting your heart. It means learning to say no to toxic people, to old partners, to the voices that tell you you're not good enough. It means surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who respect your truth, and who walk beside you as you heal. Closure means making people with the past without letting it control your future. It means carrying the lessons learned without carrying the weight of the pain. It means opening your heart to hope, to grow into a new chapter, even when the pages are still blanked. And that choice to let go, to forgive, to keep moving forward is the most powerful kind of closure there is. It's a choice you make every day. It's a promise to yourself that your story isn't over and that your peace matters most. So, closure isn't just an ending, it's a beginning. It's a chance to rewrite your story with strength, courage, and love on your own terms. Chapter 93. Why I speak up now. For a long time, I kept everything inside. I held back my feelings and stayed silent because I didn't want to cause problems or make things worse. I thought that if I said what I was really feeling, people would see me as too sensitive, dramatic, or a troublemaker. I worried that speaking out would bring more conflict, more judgment, or even more pain. So I swallowed my hurt and hid my truth, hoping that if I ignored it, the pain would simply disappear on its own. But silence didn't protect me. It never did. Instead, it gave me power to the people who hurt me. When I stayed quiet, the bullying and rumors continued without consequence. When I refused to speak up, the people who crossed my boundaries were encouraged to keep going. My silence became their permission, a sign that what they were doing was okay, even if it wasn't. The more I stayed silent, the smaller I felt. I felt invisible, trapped, and powerless. I started dubbing my own worth, my own reality. I wonder if maybe I deserve it, or if I was making too big of a deal out of things. But deep down, I knew that silence wasn't safety. It was a trap, one that kept me stuck and broken. Speaking up wasn't easy, it was terrifying. It meant risking judgment, rejection, and sometimes even more pain. It meant being variable when all I want was to hide away. It meant telling my story over and over, even when it was exhausting and hurtful. Sometimes I felt like no one would listen or believe me. Sometimes I wanted to give up before I even began. But slowly I learned that speaking up it gave me power. It reminded me that my voice matters, that I have a right to be heard, to set boundaries, and to stand up for myself. Every time I spoke my truth, no matter how small or messy, I took back control of my life. Every time I refused to be silent, I proved to be myself that I was stronger than my fears. Now I speak up not just for my but for others who feel alone. I speak up because I know how isolating it is to carry pain in silence. I want others to know they are not alone, that their voices matter too. I speak up to break the cycle, to show that it's okay to be honest, to be brave, and to ask for help when things get too hard. My voice is more than just words. It is my story, my experience, my strength. It's a light for those still struggling in the dark. It's a way to create change, to open doors for understanding, and to build communities of support. Even if only one person hears me and feels less alone, that is enough. Speaking up has become a form of healing for me. It helps me rebuild trust without myself and the world. It turns my pain into purpose. It reminds me daily that I am worthy, resilient, and capable of growth. It helps me rewrite my story, one brave word at a time. I don't speak up because I want to fight or create drama. I speak up because I deserve to be heard, because my story matters, because my truth deserves respect. And most of all, I speak up so no one else has to suffer in silence the way I did. This is why I speak up now, because my voice is powerful and I'm done letting fear keep me quiet. Chapter 94. What people didn't see. Most people only saw what I wanted them to see, or maybe what I thought they should see. They didn't see the panic that gripped me every single morning as I walked into school, that sudden crushing tightness in my chest, the way my breath hitched and my heart raced as if I was about to run a race I never signed up for. The feeling like every pair of eyes was searching for my weakness moment, waiting for me to slip up, waiting for the chance to hurt me again. School wasn't just a place to learn, it was a battlefield, one I had to prepare for mentally every day. They didn't hear the endless noise in my head, the fears, the worst case scenarios, the constant guessing of who might be talking behind my back, or what cruel things were being whispered. I rehearsed conversations over and over, trying to figure out what I should say, how I should act to avoid conflict or ridicule. I was always on edge, always bracing myself for whatever storm might come. The stress wasn't just in my head, it settled deep in my bones, making even simple things exhausting. They didn't see the nights when I shut my bedroom door and let the tears come freely. Tears I had held back all day. Tears that fell quietly when I thought no one was watching. The overwhelming sadness that felt like it would swallow me wholly. The loneliness that wrapped around me like a heavy blanket, making it hard to breathe. I carried so much pain silently, pushing it down because I was scared to admit just how deeply it was affecting me. Sometimes I wondered if the hurt would ever fade or if it would just become part of who I am. I was. They didn't know how deeply exhausted I felt. Not just physically tired, but emotionally and mentally drained. Pretending everything was okay took more energy than I could sometimes find. The smile I showed with a mask, carefully painted on to hide the turmoil inside. It was my way of protecting myself from questions I didn't want to answer from and from pity I didn't feel ready to accept. I wanted people to think I was fine because that was easier than explaining how broken I really felt. Inside, though, I was breaking. Every harsh word, every cold glance, every laugh behind my back clipped away up at my confidence and self worth. There was so much happening behind the scenes, moments of bullying, exclusion, whispers and rumors, and an overwhelming sense of isolation that no one seemed to notice. I carried it all quietly like a second burden. I couldn't share because I was afraid no one would understand or believe me. For too long, I hoped things would get better, that I would somehow become stronger, that one day I would be free from this weight. No one saw the battles I fought just to make it through a single day. No one saw the bravery it took to get out of a bed, get dressed, and face a world that felt cold and unkind. No one saw the strength it took to smile, to keep going, even when every part of me wanted to hide away. The courage behind that smile is something I didn't realize I had until much later. What people didn't see was real and it mattered because sometimes the hardest fights happen inside ourselves, away from the eyes of the world, and even if it feels like no one notices, those struggles shape who we are and how we grow. They teach us resilience, they teach us hope, they teach us the power of survival. So while the world only saw a smile, I know the truth behind it, the quiet strength, the hidden pain, and the unspoken battles, and I carry all of it with me as I move forward. Chapter 95. When Trust Was Broken. I used to trust people easily. I believed in the good in others and gave them the benefit of the doubt. I thought trust was something simple, a natural part of any friendship or relationship. If someone said they care, I believed them. If someone promised to be there, I counted on it. I didn't think much about how fragile trust could be because to me, it was just how the world worked. People were supposed to be honest, kind, and dependable. But then things change. I was lied to, not just once, but over and over again. Little lies at first, things that seemed small but piled up until the truth was buried beneath a mountain of deception. I was blamed for things I didn't do, made to feel like I was the problem when really, I was just trying to stand my ground. I was ignored when I needed someone to listen the most, and I was manipulated into doubting myself, my feelings, and even my reality. Those experiences shattered the way I saw trust. I realized it wasn't something I to give away lightly anymore. Trust became a previous guarded thing, something that had to be earned again and again and carefully protected once given. Now, trust isn't autom- automatic. It's not a gift freely given at the start. It's a test, a choice I make based on what I've seen and how someone treats me over time. I look for honesty, for consistency, for respect. I watch for actions that match words, and I pay attention to how people handle the tough moments because that's when trust is truly tested. When someone breaks my trust, it cuts deep. It feels like a betrayal, not just of not just of them, but of the part of me that believed in me. It shakes my foundation and makes me question everything I thought I knew. But breaking trust doesn't mean the end automatically. It means there's work to be done, sometimes by the other person, sometimes by me, to decide if rebuilding is possible. I don't rush to forgive or forget. I don't hand trust back if nothing happened. It takes time to heal those wounds and to believe again that someone won't hurt me. I've learned that healing trust is a slow process, one that requires patience, cleaner boundaries, and proof that things have changed. Sometimes trust can be rebuilt stronger than before. When someone shows true remorse, takes responsibility, and makes an honest effort to change, I can open my heart again, but I'm careful. I protect my peace. I don't want to give my trust to just anyone, only to be hurt again. Learning when and now and how to trust has been one of the hardest lessons I face. It's taught me to value myself more, to recognize that my trust is not something to be taken lightly or given away as a favor. It's a part of me, and I get to decide who deserves it. So now, when I say I trust you, it means something real. It means you're earned a place in my life. I'm choosing to believe in you, and if you break that trust, know that it won't be easy to repair, but I'm open to growth, to forgiveness, and to healing if it's genuine. Trust isn't just about others, it's about trusting myself, my feelings, my boundaries, my instincts. After everything I've been through, trusting myself again has been just as important as trusting anyone else. And I'm learning to listen closely to that inner voice because it's the best guide I have. In the end, trust is fragile. It can be broken, but it can also be mended with time, care, and respect. And I'm learning how to protect it, how to give it wisely, and how to hold it close as I move forward.